Hi, Patrick here, and welcome to Instant Customer TV. Today we're going to talk about presentation skills, and with us we have Celia Delaney, who's the creator of SpeakingSuccess. So Celia, welcome.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, great to have you here, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today. And I thought maybe we could start with the question, what is presentation skills training?
Well, presentation skills training is about when people want to work on their communication skills, and more specifically, when they need to stand up and speak to a group of people. So some people call this public speaking, others call it presenting. And presentation skills training just means you've made a decision to work on your skills, and you can learn in a number of different ways. For example, I go into organizations and I train groups of people within a business. I also coach privately, one-to-one, and unusually for some coaches, I'm also a keynote speaker, so I stand up and speak about communication skills to businesses. And also you can learn from books and from online courses these days. So there's a number of different ways that you can take in presentation skills training. But the key thing is that you've made a decision to work on your speaking so that you're a more capable and more effective communicator.
Okay, great. So why do people come to a presentation skills training?
Well, I think there are usually three different reasons, and I separate those into state, style, and structure. So state, what I mean by that is their own emotional state. So we know, Patrick, don't we, that many people have a real anxiety about getting up to speak in front of other people. So that's a very common reason why people reach out to a coach or take a course or read books on this skill. Style, when I say style, I mean the way that people are delivering the talk that they've prepared. Now, it might be that the person has become aware that they don't like their voice, or they don't like the way they move when they get up, or a number of different things. Or they may have had feedback from other people that their style is not engaging enough. Thirdly, structure. Most people don't know how to write a good talk. And that's why, for good reason, there are speechwriters who are employed to do this. There is an art and a science to writing a talk. And I'm really fascinated by the use of language, the way that we can structure what we say in order to be more effective and more engaging, and something I'm really interested in, how to be more persuasive. So one of the structures that I teach is called I Promote, and it's about how to get people to take action when you speak, which is a very desirable thing for most people in business. Normally when they stand up to speak, their purpose in doing that is to get people to change their behavior or to do something differently, for example, to buy something or to make a decision. And so the way that you structure your talk is going to make a difference to the results that you get.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So what can people expect from attending a presentation skills training?
Well, I think they should expect results, don't you? I think that's really important, to focus on what it is that you want to get out of it, be clear on your objectives, and then go after those results. And a good presentation skills trainer or coach will be focusing on that with you. So that's a reasonable thing to expect. A lot of people think you're born able to speak, but I don't agree. I used to be immensely shy and couldn't even look people in the eye, and now I stand on big stages and speak to large audiences and feel really comfortable. So I'm a living example of how you can get over an anxiety of speaking and go on to do really well. So expecting results is a good thing, and you can learn to speak. It is possible. And secondly, I think they should expect some fun. You know, the courses and the coaching should be very interactive. The emphasis should be on the person getting up and practicing their speaking regularly, because practice does make a big difference, especially in reducing anxiety, and on getting good feedback about what it is that they're doing really well, let's not forget that, and some of the things that could be done a little bit better. So any good presentation skills training should focus on results and a really high level of interaction for the participants.
That's great. So people might be watching right now and they're interested and want to take that next step and, you know, attend the training or look into presentation skills training. So what are maybe 3-4 things you think they should look at when they're going to choose the best, you know, presentation skills training for them?
Sure. Well, I think if you're thinking about working on your speaking, then certainly ask around, ask for recommendations. But increasingly these days, most people look online. That's where I get most of my inquiries, is through the internet. And the great thing about the internet is you can look at those results. You know, you want to go with a trainer or a coach who has had some clients already and has had some good results. So have a look for those testimonials on their website and also on LinkedIn, which is a great tool for seeing whether people have been recommended. So first of all, check out their credentials, I would say. Secondly, have a chat with them yourself and see whether you think there's a fit. You know, to get the best out of you, you need to work with somebody that you like and you respect. So have a chat, find out if there's a fit there, think about their background and their credentials. You know, I've worked in the corporate sector and a lot of my senior executives really like that because they relate to the experiences that I've had. And also you might want to think about whether that coach or trainer does any speaking themselves. That's not necessarily essential, but it's interesting. I'm out there speaking all the time, and I bring those stories back to my clients, and I know they find those really interesting and also encouraging because I get myself into the same situations that they do. I'm under the same pressures, and I encounter the same problems that they do, and I can talk to them about that. Not only that, but the world is changing so rapidly that every time you get up to speak, something has changed in the technology that people are using. So now if you're talking to your team or talking to an audience of prospects, they may well be on their mobile phones or even using a smart watch or glasses or another invention to connect with the internet and to speak to other people who are outside the room. So those kind of developments are really important to understand and to see whether your coach understands those if you're going to be facing similar things. And thirdly, what I would say is consider somebody that has developed a methodology through their experience. You know, I've been coaching for 15 years now, and I think that has given me a real understanding of the kind of problems people come with about their speaking and typically what solutions work best. So I've developed a really robust methodology within that called I Persuade, and I know that if somebody goes through my process, they will come out a good speaker at the other end. So that's tested and proven, and I would be looking for that in a coach myself.
Okay, that's great. So I know that your approach has been very successful, you know, in getting helping people with presentation skills and speaking skills and communication. So what is your approach? That would be, if you wouldn't mind sharing that.
Sure. Well, as I say, my methodology is called I Persuade, and I have split up speaking skills into those 3 problem areas that we talked about at the beginning: state, style, and structure. So I take people through those phases, as many of them as they need, depending on what they've come with. And those are I prepare, I present, I promote, and finally, I persuade. So that takes people through anxiety of speaking, their style when they're up there speaking, and the structure of their talks. And then we go on to look at some of the art and science of persuasion, if that's something that they want to learn. So that methodology I know really works for me. I'm either there in an organisation training people for full days, or I'm coaching privately over a number of sessions, which might be an hour and a half, 2 hours, or sometimes half a day, depending on what people need to do with their diaries. These are busy people after all. So I know that my method works, and I think that one of the reasons for that is that I'm very real with people. I think they're surprised how down to earth I am sometimes, because I used to be an actress. So I do use the performing secrets that I learned from stage to teach people about energy and articulation and voice and how to be really engaging and interesting. But I also have that corporate background. I used to be a human resources director for Unilever. So I've got my feet planted firmly on the ground. I understand the realities of business, and I don't want to turn people into actors. I've no interest in that. I want them to be themselves, but better. And that combination of the corporate world and the performance world is a very potent one. And coupled with that, I read psychology at Oxford. That really helps me talk to people about how the brain works, how people can take in information, and what makes them respond to you. So those three elements, the corporate and the performance and the psychology, I bring into my work, which brings it a kind of depth. And I have to say, not many coaches have got that combination of skills. So I'm really pleased that I've lived that life and done those things. And now I have a very rich experience that I can give to my clients.
Wow, that's great. So really rich and in-depth experience there. So people are watching and they want to take action and they find this interesting and they feel inspired to move forward. Is there something that you could do for the people watching right now to contact you and take that next step to improve their presentation skills, speaking skills? Do you have anything for them?
Yes, I give a free 15-minute consultation. There's no obligation. The purpose of that is to listen to what's happening for you at the moment with your speaking and to troubleshoot some of the things that you're encountering. I love speaking to people about their skills, and so I'm delighted to offer that. I tend to do those talks with people towards the beginning of the week. So the way we work it is on my website, celiadelaney.co.uk. There is a questionnaire on there which you can fill out, which allows you to think about what's happening currently with your speaking and what problems might you be encountering, and in particular, what do you want to achieve with it? And what's the cost of that for you? So what's the benefit? Is there going to be a payoff to working in this way? And that just helps you think about whether you'd like to even have any coaching or training. And then you're able to schedule a call time with me. As I say, I review those on Fridays, typically the questionnaires, and speak to people early in the week before the business week gets going and have a chat with you. And then we'll see if there's something that I can help you with. I'd be delighted. If not, that's absolutely fine. There's a number of different ways that I work. As I say, we do sometimes offer tasters and public courses, dates that we put on throughout the week, throughout the year, sorry. So if the best thing to do is to keep checking back to my website for that and getting all the latest information there.
Okay, great. So if you aren't feeling inspired right now and you want to take that next step and explore your presentation skills, speaking skills, then take this offer that Celia just gave to you. You can go to her website, celiadelaney.co.uk, celiadelaney.co.uk, and take her up on that offer and take that next step. And Celia, thank you so much for sharing with us, and appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, Patrick, and I look forward to speaking to everyone soon.
Great, thank you.